Okay, then let's see how to install Python first of all. Then you can just search for Python 3 in Google, and thereafter you can click on this python.org website, downloads, and you can see the latest version for Windows is 3.12, right? And here you can find out the active Python releases as well. Then the most stable, the latest version is 3.12.2. Right now, if you are looking for the other operating systems, you can click on here Linux. If it is for Mac, this. Likewise, you can find it out. Right now, if it is for Windows, you can click on this. Then I will share this link via a chat. Therefore, everyone can use it to download. Okay, please click on this and then download 3.12. It will be around 25 megabytes if you have not downloaded. And the previous releases also, if you want, you could download from the bottom, but there were no need. Then you can just download this one. Anyway, the one who has downloaded before you install, can you tell me? Then I can ask you to share your screen and show us the steps because I have already installed Python. Therefore, can someone please tell us like before you install, once you download? Okay, who has finished downloading? Anyone? Akid, have you downloaded?
Yes, and
You just downloaded, no? Okay,
yes,
and then I'm gonna stop sharing. Can you please share the screen and show us
yes.
how to install it? You have not installed it, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, please. Yeah, let me stop sharing. Okay, you can share the screen. When you share the screen, select desktop as the option, share screen as the desktop. Sorry, is screen. Share screen and select the screen option. That will display the entire desktop view.
And now please.
Yes, we can see. Have okay. Okay, you can open the downloaded. Yes, you can open it. Click open file. Select run. And then here you have to click on the below you have add python.exe to path. Click on that because in command prompt, yes, click on that, yes, because we're going to use the Python in order to invoke the Python interpreter. We'll be using command prompt in Windows. Like if you open the command prompt and if you type any command, then that command will be searched before it executes. Particular command we have entered will be searched on the path variable. The path variable contains path for different locations where we have the bin files. Therefore, yes, we need to add the python.exe to the path variable. Yes. And if you want to change the location you want to install, then using customize installation, you could change the location. If you don't want, if you don't want to change it, if you just find with the default location, yes, you can click install now. Okay, now close it. Now open the command prompt. Type CMD. Okay, click on Windows button and then type CMD. Type CMD. Right, click on that command prompt. Yes. Now type Python, PY only. I just want to type PY. Okay. Enter, press enter. And press the enter key like while you are in the. Yes, now press enter. Right, now you can see that the Python interpreter got executed. Interpreter, it's 3.12.2. Right now, okay, this is how we install Python. Right, okay, thank you. Right. Okay, if any of you have any questions on this, please ask now. Right. Now we have just installed the Python as well. Now, once you install the Python, you can open the command prompt, right? Now, in order to open the command prompt, either you can type Windows key and search for CMD and click on command prompt, and then you can get the command prompt. In the command prompt, if you just type py, then that will show you the Python version you have, and it will execute the Python interpreter. Right now, if you just want to type a first Python code script, you can type print. Inside the brackets, you can say hello world and press enter. This is how you print something in the console using Python. That is, whatever the text you want to display, you need to put it inside the double quotes, and you need to use this the method print. Inside the print method, inside the brackets, you need to pass this as a string. That's why we have to pass only one argument, one value. That's why we put the double quotes at the beginning and at the end in order to make it as one. And this is how we're gonna get display. If you want to exit, you can press okay. If you type exit, what will happen? If you type exit, now it says if you want to exit, use the exit method. Then you have type exit and open and close bracket and press enter. Or Control Z plus return to exit. Press Control C and press the enter key in order to exit. Or you can just type py in order to enable the interpreter. Control C and press enter. It will exit. Or type exit with open and close brackets and press enter. You will be able to exit from the Python interpreter. That's how you can enable the interpreter as well as disable the interpreter. Right now, okay. Now open the notepad file, right? Just click on notepad and then that will open an untitled notepad, right? So there, just type what we have previously typed, print. Hello. Okay, I just type print hello. Oh, first code, first program, first code in Python. Right. Type print, open and close the bracket. Now, whatever you wanted to print, you need to put it here. Print, open and close the bracket. This is a print function. There's a function called print. We're going to use it. And inside the brackets, we need to pass the values. This is how we do it. Right. Now, type this. I hope you all are doing with me. Therefore, quickly do it. And if you have any questions, please ask. And then Once you're done with this, you can click on File and then you can click on Save. Right, now let's save this. Now, in order to save this, I'm going to use the desktop. In my desktop, I'm going to create a folder called uh, day one, like Python, okay, E exercises, EX. I'm going to create a folder called exercises, EX, PY underscore EX, so PY exercises. Python exercises like PYEX. Okay, any name you can assign. It doesn't matter day one, working folder, or any folder you can make. Right now, I have created a folder in my desktop. Inside that folder, I'm going to save my Python file. Right now, when you're saving, okay, please pay attention here very carefully. Right now, normally this is a notepad we have open. Therefore, this would be saved as a text file. Now, save as type already selected as txt, text. Okay, now I don't need to save it as a text. I want to save it as a Python file because I want to feed this into the Python interpreter. Then, in order to save this as a Python file, okay, now either without worrying about the second row, just put double quotes, right? In between the double quotes, type py. Okay, I'm gonna name it as my code. Okay, code. I'm gonna name it as code. Code.py. I'm going to save it as code.py. But the code.py, py is the extension, Python, fine, .py. But now see, I'm going to use double quotes at the front and at the end. Beginning and at the end, I have put double quotes. In between the double quotes, I have typed code.py. Therefore, I'm not worried about save as type. And I'm going to save this. If you save it like this would be saved as .py file. But if not, okay, remember, if not, if you forgot to use these double quotes, then go to save as type and then select all files. Go to save as type and then select all files. If you forgot to use the double quotes, you need to change this into all files. If not, the file will be saved as code.py.txt. That means the file name we're going to be code.py and extension going to be txt, text. That is not what we want. Right now, code.py and then click save. Now, in your desktop now, we have created, a file, folder called tyex, and then inside that folder, we have saved this code.py file. Okay, now in the command prompt, now where are we? Now I'm in the users folder. Like if you open your desktop, right now this is your desktop, right? This is the folder we have created, PYEX, and this is the file we are referring to. But now, where are we now? Actually, at the beginning, you will see C users in your computer if it is if the Windows installed on C. Now, that's why it shows C. And then the users folder. This is the users folder. And then your profile name. It's G1 here. Then under G1. Okay, where? Now we are here. The console is here now. Now I have saved my file in my desktop folder inside this py.ex folder. Now if I want to get into this, now I want to go to desktop and ex folder. Therefore, I can take a copy of this easily and then type cd space, paste it and press enter. Or else, now I already halfway I have come, then I have to go to the desktop Right. I can go to cd desktop slash pyex. Right now, I can go into this folder like this, or else you can easily you can press enter like this, or else you can go to the folder, click on the address bar, take a copy, and type cd. We are supposed to be in this place. No, type cd space cd is for change directory. Paste this and press enter. You will be able to get into that folder. Right? This is how we access using command prompt. Okay, try out. Right now, I hope you have already done this. Now, I want to execute this code. Now, I'm already in this particular place inside the Python code for PYEX folder. Okay, let me show you again. If you have missed anything, right, open the command prompt, and then the file we have saved is inside the desktop. Inside the desktop, the folder name is pyex, Python exercise folder that I have created. Right now, in your case, it might be different. And then I want to execute the code I have written. My code name is file name is code.py. This is a Python source file, not txt file, code.py. Then you could open py. You're going to feed the code file to the Python interpreter, py space code.py. Now, according to the script we have written there, it will give us the output. Now it will give you first code in Python. And now this is how we write a code into Python code into a text file or in the Python file. And then that is how we execute it. Right. You quickly try this. Okay, now any questions up to now? Please ask. If you're unable to do this, please let me know. Then I can help you. Then I can start. Any questions? Everyone okay? Right. It seems everyone is okay with this, right? Okay. Then let's proceed. As I said previously, Python is general purpose and which is interpreted and interactive and which is object oriented program. Okay, can anyone tell me what do you mean by object oriented? Now, object oriented program. What do you mean by object oriented program? Those who have already done Python, tell me quickly. It seems no one can remember what is object oriented. Okay, don't worry. We will talk. Now, in simply, object oriented means now Python. Every almost every time it works like classes and objects likewise. Then and objects communicate with each other, and how that happens we will discuss. Right now, as I said, this was introduced in 1991, and this was named just not because of the snake, because of a TV show. And now the latest version we are using 3.12, and now the Python 3.0 that was a major release that was happened in 2008. And remember, this version is backward incompatible with Python 2.0 because later on many of its important features have been backported to be compatible with version 2.7. But Python 3 released in 2008. Therefore, there are differences compared to Python 2 scripts and Python 3 scripts. Right. Then you can talk about Python. What is Python? Yes, Python codes are interpreted. Why? What do you mean by interpreted? Yes, as you said, we have two options when you write a program. That means that program is written according to human readable language. Most of the time using English. We write the codes using English language because we can understand it. It's human readable. But whatever the language, whatever the code we have written using English cannot understand by the processor. Therefore, we have to convert that into processor friendly or the machine friendly code. Therefore, in order to do that, we use we use compilers, we use interpreters, we use assemblers. Then you have found out, okay, the compiler compile at once. Therefore, once you have the entire code, whatever the lines in the code, everything will get compiled at once. Therefore, if there's any single issue, is single issue in the sense syntax errors because every language There are syntaxes like in English also there are grammar rules. Likewise, there are some rules. Likewise, if you're using Python language, there are certain ways. Now we have to use if we want to print something, we have to use the print method. That's the rule. We have to follow it. And then print method is simple print. And then if you want to pass a text message, then you have to pass the whatever the thing inside the double quotes. Those are the rules. And then when you use a language to write our code, that language has to be converted into machine readable. That machine, in order to create the machine code, right now we need to use a translator. Then compiler can be used as a translator. As because compiler compile the source code at once, the entire code at once it gets converted to the machine code. But when there's another one called interpreter. Interpreter interpret line by line. That is, every time you run the program, it execute or it interpret line by line. Therefore, you don't have to compile your program before you run it, and you have the source code. When you run it, it get interpreted line by line. Therefore, Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter line by line. Therefore, if you have any errors in halfway, you will be able to execute your code until you meet the error. And also, you can interact with the Python interpreter using command prompt. You can open the Python interpreter by typing py. You can execute the Python interpreter. Now, if you want to try some maths here, let's say, now, okay, if you just open the command prompt and if you type 2 plus 5 and press enter, won't give you any answer, right? Because the command prompt it does not support for the mathematical operations like this. But if you use the Python interpreter, then in order to open the Python, invoke the Python interpreter, you can just type py. Now press 2 plus 5. You get the answer. See? Now you can interactively interact with the interpreter. Then you can say, okay, print hi. Right, then it will give you the output. Likewise, then Python is interpreted. Therefore, Python is interpreted, Python is interactive. Then object-oriented. Therefore, Python follows or supports the object-oriented concepts because now all the codes encapsulated inside a class and then objects communicate. Likewise, we will discuss about object-oriented concepts later. And also, Python is very famous because it is a great language for the beginner level programming. And from beginner to advanced level programmers, for the experts, Python is a great language because it could do variety of applications from simple text processing to web programming or the data mining algorithms, image processing algorithms, and so on. Now, Python supports both functional and structured programming methods as well as the object-oriented programming methods. Like it supports for polymorphism, it supports for inheritance, likewise. Then it could be used as a scripting language or can be compiled to bytecode for building large applications. And these very high level dynamic data types, and it supports for dynamic type checking, and it has automatic garbage collector. Then what is this garbage collector? Then someone may think, okay, what is the garbage collector? No. Okay, in your memory, now we have very limited memory in our computer, right? The RAM. And whenever we allocate some variables, when you allocate some values to those memory locations, then it gets filled. But sometimes we allocate and then we won't use it. We don't refer it later. But then the garbage collector's duty is to find such null referenced objects and then memory locations and then clear those. Now the clean the memory, that's what you call as automatic garbage collection. Also, Python codes can be integrated with C, C++, C Sharp, Java, or any most of the programming language. Because for an example, you may write an image processing program using C Sharp, and halfway, in order to achieve some task, you may write Python codes. Therefore, that can be easily integrated with other programming languages. Now, you all are here just because of Python is easy to learn. Very few keywords, very simple structure, clearly defined syntax. Therefore, you can easily pick up the language quickly and easy to read. Anyone can read it and easily understand. And very easy to maintain. And it has some broad standard library. Right now, the Python's bulk of the library is very portable. And now when you download, you can take only the archive folder and then you could use it. And it is cross-platform compatible. That's why you can install Python on Unix, Linux, Windows, Macintosh, like, and it is interactive, it is portable, it is extendable, and it supports for databases, and it supports for graphical user interfaces, and it is scalable. Therefore, we will discuss these features later on, and then we have already done this. We have installed Python already 3.12, and make sure you have to select the checkbox for add Python, whatever the version to the path variable. And thereafter, we discussed this the interpreter and the compiler. Yes, as you said, interpreter. Python uses an interpreter. Python is an interpreted language. Each time the program runs, the interpreter translates the program line by line. Therefore, if there's any translation errors during the process, the program will stop and the error is encountered. Therefore, the advantage is you can, even though you have bugs in your code, you can run up to that point and you can compile in multiple platforms. Right, the compiler. Right now, if you know C and C++, those are compiled, C# compiled languages. Now, the compilers, before you run the program, you have to compile it. The compiler translates all the source code into a machine code or the object code at once. Therefore, code has to be perfect. If there is any errors, it won't get compiled. If there are any translation errors during the compilation process, then it will stop. Therefore, no machine language will get produced. Therefore, if there are no translation errors, then only it will create the machine language or machine readable code. Therefore, thereafter, when you run it, it is easy faster because you have it is already compiled, pre-compiled, and you can use that the translated code many times because it's already translated. Therefore, you could use it many times. Right now, that's the difference between interpreter and the compiler. And we have already done this, printing hello world, right, in using a file, as well as in the interpreter we have done it. Now my question is, okay, what is a variable? Okay, quickly search about what is a variable in Python. What is a variable and what are the variable types? Why do we need a variable? What is the purpose of using a variable? How do we use a variable? And those things you need to be answered. Right. Therefore, please find out what is a variable and what are the types of variables available in Python. Quickly do it. I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, what is a variable? What is a variable? Tell me quickly.
Variables are the names that we give to the computer memory locations uh, which store values of the computer program
Okay, variables are the names given for the memory location. Mhm.
that that are used to store values in a computer program.
Right, okay, great. What else?
We we can assign a value to them at any time in a program.
Right now, let's say this if this is the memory. Right now, if you want to in the memory, if you want to store a value, and then we need to address this. No, now this address may be a memory reference, no, 0x, likewise, it's going to be a memory address, very lengthy name, which contains hexadecimal values, and we cannot remember. But we can name it as name for variable. Let's say we can name it as age. Now we can name it as age. Now when you say age, now that's the name we're gonna use. The refers, it gonna refer. This gonna refer to a. This gonna refer to the particular location. If it is, let's say, if we have stored 10 here, then when you say age, that refers to the value here. Therefore, we can say age or the variable name is a symbolic name. Now, this is a symbolic name. Oh, this is a symbol. Right now, this is a symbolic name, the value or the name we have assigned to a memory location. This will be now in other programming languages, most of the time we call as a reference, a pointer. Now, this one is pointing to this object. Now, this variable, when you say age, this is a reference we have used for this particular location. Therefore, that means the value assigned on that place, the value stored in this place. Therefore, variables are used to temporarily to store values. Therefore, Python or any other programming language, we use variables to store values temporarily. To store values temporarily. Therefore, we remember variables are used to store values temporarily in the memory. Therefore, in order to access it, in order to assign the value, in order to access it, we're going to assign a name for it. Then variable has a name. Now, using this variable name, we can access this particular location of the memory to read this value. Okay, that's how we use it. Right. Then like we know that now variables are used to store values. Therefore, how to create the values, how to create the variables, how to assign a value, how to read a value, that we need to understand. Okay, do you have any idea what are the types of values you can store in Python? What are the types? Now, for an example, now everyone may have done Access, right? Microsoft Access, right? There we had, when you're creating the database, we had different types. We had different types. Likewise, in what do you think? In Python programs, in Python variables, what would be the values we could store? What do you think? What are the types we could store?
Sir,
The types of variables we could store in Python? Type of values?
we can store numbers, strings, dictionaries like that, sir.
Yes, we could store numbers. Yes. The number may be a integer or the whole number or decimal. Therefore, we have to store whole numbers or decimal numbers. Yes, we have to store characters or words. Yes, we have to store characters or words. Sometimes we may have to store true or false values. Right. Now, Okay, now how to use the Python variables and so on, we have to talk now. Right. Now we have to now let's try out how to deal with this interpreter. Now we have to talk about the interpreter, right? Right, now the variables. Okay, now before we go into talk about the variables, let's write one value and see how it works. Now, in Python, it's very easy. Now, assigning the variables is very easy. Let's say we have a name variable, name, that is a text message, a text value, name. Then inside the double quotes, if it is a string value, if it is a text value, we need to put inside the double quotes or single quotes or three single quotes, three double quotes. Likewise, we could do it. For the time being, we'll go with double quotes. Let's say Jane Doe. And you want to display it, you can just use inside the print method, you can call the name of the variable. Okay. And if you want to display my name is this, okay, the name is this, then you can say name is and comma. Likewise, you could display. Right now, save this and then run it and see. Right now, let me exit from this. py.code.py. Now you can see the name of the variable stored as Jane Doe. And second line it displays name is. It displays the text here, name is, and then the value of this variable, Jane Doe. Right. Likewise, now you can see in our memory we have created a variable and name it as name, and then we have stored the value Jane Doe inside that particular variable. We are accessing it. Right. Okay, try this one quickly. Right. Now, remember, in other programming languages, right? Now, declaring variable is you have to use the data type and the name likewise. Then you can see here for the name variable. Okay, let's say I have a variable called now name. No? Okay, even though if I have assigned now, okay, let me show you the type of this variable as well. Now I'm gonna print the name and the value of the variable, and then I'm gonna show you the type of the variable as well. See, and the same thing for the same variable. Now let me show you. I'm gonna change the value. Now I'm gonna assign 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna assign 112.5, and I'm gonna assign proof. Likewise, I'm gonna assign different set of values. Now, if you run this, now you can see here. Now the first one for the same variable. Now I have assigned Jane Doe. Then the data type. The data type has string. The type is string. The next we have changed, we have reassigned the value 1, 2, 3. Now I have reassigned. Now previously we have assigned. Now, if it is a variable location, I said now this is the container I have used, and this container I have reproduced in name variable. And we have assigned Jane Doe previously. And then we had Jane Doe here. And then the type of this variable was string. And suddenly we have cut this value, we have replaced this with 1, 2, 3. And now that became integer. See, now that became an integer. And thereafter I have changed it to 12.5, a point. 12.5, a decimal value. Then it became the data type changes to float. And then I have removed that and I have stored true. When I store true, the type of this variable became to Boolean. Now you can see here, in Python, it's very easy. Based on the value you assign, the type of the data assigned. The data type changes according to the value you assign. Therefore, in Python, you cannot declare variable. Now, for an example, if it is Java, you may write, okay, integer, okay, string, okay, integer age. And age equals 10. If you once you declare age as integer, thereafter you can only store integer values only. But Python is not like that. You just type the name of the variable and you assign the value. Now, at this point, age is a variable which can store integers. But in a minute, I'm going to say age equals 10.5. Now, age is a variable. The type of the variable is float. Now, in a minute, I'm going to say age is equals 10. Now, age variable refer to a string value now. Now, if you type age is equals to false. Now, age variable is referring to a Boolean value now. If I say age is equals to 10.5j, now it might say, okay, age variable is referring to a complex number. Right. Likewise, remember, the only thing you need to remember is Python has no requirement for pre-declaring variables, and you can't pre-declare the variables. You can't declare the variables. You can't declare the variables. Then based on the value you assign, variable get created, and at the time you assign a value, the variable get created. Remember, based on the value you assign, the type of the variable get assigned, and the variable get created when you assign a value. Whenever you assign a value, variable get created. Therefore, Python variables are created when you assign a value to it. Remember, variables are created when you assign a value to it. Now, as you know that if it is a string value, we have to put it inside the double quotes. Remember that. If it is a string value, we have to put it inside the double quotes. It's a must. You can have any lengthy word. See, right now here you can have any lengthy word, but you need to put inside the double. You have to have a double quotes here. Or you can have single quotes, triple quotes, like as we will discuss when we are talking. Right. Now, okay, now this is the first program we are writing, most of us, and therefore we have to write special notes. Then I know we all are lazy. Therefore, we won't use another separate notebook. No? Right? Therefore, we want to type then and there in the notes. Okay, let's have the notes in here as well. Now, you need to write what? Python variables. When you assign a value, variable get created. I want to write it for me as a note for a reference. It has not it should not get interpreted. I want to exclude it from interpreting. That's a reference, that's a note only for me. Therefore, that we call as in programming comments. because the developer can put comments for the purpose of when he is revisiting in order to understand the context, or when someone else is referring to the code in order to explain the code, the code developer can use the comments. And whenever you don't want that certain part of the code to get executed, then you make it as a comment. In order to make a comment, there are several ways of doing it. Right? If it is just a one line, if it is just a one line, if it is just a one line, using the hash will do the trick. Right now, we can say variables get created when assign the value. Variable get created when assign a value. It's a one line. And if you want to have another line, variable type determined based on the value, assigned value. Right now, these will not get executed. Right now, if you do not put this, right, see, if you do not put the hash symbol and then right, if you save it like this, and if you try to run this, now you will get an error. Invalid syntax, yes. So the Python, there is no syntax you follow. Therefore, this can't get interpreted. Therefore, you need to, in order to exclude it, put a hash. If it is just a line, this hash will do only for one line. See? Again, you get the error here. Therefore, this will do only one line. It will ignore the one line. If it is a one line, if you have very small comments, then you could use the hash. If you want to explain paragraphs, if you want to explain paragraphs like this, if you want to explain the variables they get created when assigning a value to it, value, and type of the variable is determined based on the value assigned. Likewise, if you want to write a paragraph, therefore what you can do is at the beginning you can put three quotes, and at the end you can put three quotes. And that is how you use a multi-line comment. Now this is what you call as a multi-line comment. Now remember, if it is a single line comment, use the hash. It is a single line comment. We can use if you're using multi-line comments, use three double quotes. Right. Now this is how you use the comments. Okay, please add comments as the way you wish, and thereafter we'll go to the variables. And also make sure you can write down variables, variable type. Type may change, can change after, variable type may change after that has been. Variable type may change for each value with assign, each value assigned. Now, for that purpose, you can just print. You can print this, and thereafter you don't need the type. You can assign 1, and you can assign 1.5. You can assign 1.5j. Can assign true. Okay, now what is the error here? How to fix the error? Now you should be able to read the error and identify. What is the error? It says what? In the Python file code.py, in line number, which line number? Read this and tell me in which line number? Hello, in which line number we have the error?
16.
Yes, in line number 16. Okay, let's figure out the line number 16 here. This is 14 here. You would be able to see the line number 15, line number 16. In line number 16, it says variable type and it is unlined type. This is invalid syntax. Yes, you can't have like this. Okay, this has to be a comment, right? Therefore, we could put hash, just one line. No? Right. Then you will be able to see the values. See? And 1.5, 1.5j true. Likewise, you will be able to see the values. And if you want to display the type as well, there's a method called type. Then you could call the method type, and inside the type, inside the brackets, you need to pass the variable name. Then you will see the different types of the variables are there, right? Okay, quickly try this one as well, quickly. If you have any questions, please ask.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So is Python case sensitive and should we consider about the spacing when we write the code?
When you are declaring the variable names.
Like when typing any code in the notepad?
Yes, yes. Okay, let me show you. Right. Okay. Now, shall I clear these context and then you can remember these? No, right. Okay, we'll have this and then. Right. Okay, then okay, now here we have let's say to make it easy, I'm going to use variable name as x here, and then I'm going to use the capital X. And here we have to print the x value, and at the same time I'm going to assign the values. Then this has to be capital X. Now you can see when I print simple x refers to J in row and capital X refers to 1. Then both variables are there because I print afterwards. No? I have done the assignment here and I'm printing this. Now you can see these two are two different variables. Why? Case sensitive. Python is case sensitive. Therefore, these are different variables. Therefore, simple x refers to one variable and capital X refers to another variable. That's why the simple x refers to j in row and capital X refers to 1, which is an integer. Right. Therefore, yes, it is case sensitive. Right. Now, when you are declaring the variable names, sorry, we can't declare the variables. No? When you are creating a variable name, let's say I want to have a variable called student name. If I type like student name, now if I type like student name, if I type like student name equals Jane Doe. Now if I try to compile, now I'm getting an error. Invalid syntax, yes, because we can't have spaces in between the variable names. Yes, we can't have the spaces in between the variable names. And there are some other rules also. Like now in such a scenario, if we have a variable, if you want to specially have student name, then there are several ways we could do it. Now, can someone please suggest me if you want to have a variable called student name and you need to separate it as well, then how could you use it?
We can use underscores.
Using
Yes,
underscore.
we could use underscore. Yeah, we could use underscore. Yes. What else? See? Now, if you use the underscore, this will get compiled, no worries. What else?
We can use capital letter to the second name.
Yes, we could do it like this or student code. Right. Right now, rather using underscore, we could do it like this. Okay, this we call as a special name. What is it? So sometimes we use like this as well. What is this? Now, these there are three different names for these. Now, I can tell you snake case, camel case, and Pascal case. Which one is the Pascal case? Which one is the snake case? Can you make a guess? Okay, don't worry. Right, we'll come. Now, beforehand, now I wanted to tell you. Now we were talking about the variables. No, we just discussed about how to create a variable. Now, okay, tell me how to create a variable. You need to type the variable name and assign a value for it. And at the time you assign a value for the variable get created. Therefore, remember, variables are used to store values. I'm going to delete. Remember, variables get created when you assign a value. Remember, variables get at the time you assign a value, the variable get created. Remember, and the type of the variable is determined based on the value you assign. If it is a string value, it will be a string. If it is a number, if it a whole number, it will be an integer. If it is a decimal value, it will be float. If it is a complex number, it will be a complex. If you assign true or false values, it will be a boolean. Therefore, the type of the variable is determined based on the value you assign. And the same variable may have different type based on the value you assign. Each time you assign a value to a variable, the type of the variable get decided. Therefore, the same variable may have different types based on the different values it has assigned. Right. Okay. Remember these. That you have to remember. It's a must. Okay. Right. Now, if you want to get the type of the variable, now if you want to get the type of the variable, let's say x equals 5, and you want to get the type of the variable, there is a method called type. Inside the type, you could put x. Okay. Now, if you run this, now this won't display anything because the type method is returning the type. It is returning the type. Therefore, if I want to get it, let's say I'm going to have a v type of I'm going to have a y variable y is equals the type, whatever the type variable type function returns, and I'm going to print y. I can do it like, because whatever the value this returns, because where the function, the method type is giving us the value, that value has to be printed. No, therefore, in order to print, we have to store it. Then I'm assigned that value to the variable y, and I'm printing the value variable y. Or rather doing this, I would have put this inside here. Therefore, now I can get the type of the variable. I can get the type of the variable. See? And when you are declaring a variable, now name, especially names, you could use double quotes. See, you could use double quotes. Right now, if you use okay, let's use single quotes. We use single quotes, we use double quotes, and we use 3 single quotes. Or we can use right now you can see either way you can define as a string. Therefore, normally we used to write in other programming languages also, we used to type double quotes for the string. So that's why normally I'm going with this. But remember, you can use either. Either you can use single quotes at the start and at the end, or double quotes at the start at the end, or 3 single quotes, or 3 double quotes. You could use at the start and at the end in order to declare, in order to define a string value. Right. Okay, is that clear? Right. Now the variables are case sensitive or not. Right. Let's see whether it is case sensitive or not. Now I'm gonna have the variable 1. Now it has a value for 1, let's say. Right. I have O and E1 that has 2. I have O capital N E, which is 3. And then we have O and capital E. I need to write 8 combinations. No? Let's go for 2 character length variable. It's easier. What we gonna say? Me. Then we have capital M. Right. These are the combinations now we can have. Right. Now I'm gonna print capital M E, simple M, capital E. Right. Now you can see same variable name, like we have used me with different case values. Now you can see each has different set of values. Like if you print the value as well, we don't need the type. No, we know the type already. See, it's case sensitive. Therefore, remember, Python variables are variable names, not variables. Variable names are case sensitive. Therefore, this will not override the value of the variable because these are four different variable names because it's case sensitive. Therefore, now remember, but in order to make as a string, you could use single quotes and you could use single quotes or you could use double quotes. You could use single quotes or you could use double quotes or you could use three single quotes or you could use three double quotes. Right now, this is how you make a string. This is how you represent a string value. And when you variable names are case sensitive, that remember in your mind. Right. Is that clear? Now we are going to the variable name conventions or the rules you have to follow when you are declaring a variable, the rules you have to follow. Variables, we have a location in the memory to store the value temporarily we use. Right, and variable creating, we have discussed this. Right. Now names and using variable. Therefore, remember, variable names can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores. Letters, numbers, and underscores. Right? Variable name can only contain letter, number, or underscore. Therefore, it could only contain letter, number, or underscore. Right. Right now, we could only have letter, number, or underscore. Right now, let's try out. Okay, let's declare variable for user1, user at name equals Joe. And let's try to print the value of the variable. Right. Okay, what I'm getting? I'm getting a syntax error. What? Cannot assign an expression. Here maybe you meant equals, two equal sign instead of one equal sign. Like now here, at is not allowed. You can't have at sign if you use dollar sign. And then you will get invalid syntax. You cannot use the dollar sign. Then if you use hash, what will happen here if you use hash? Now, then thereafter it will get commented. Therefore now use only. Now this, what is this? Incomplete word. Name use is not defined. Did you mean super? That means there's a user type, there's a keyword called super. Are you using super? There's nothing called user. Because hereafter it get commented because when you use the hash. Therefore remember, you could use only underscore. A variable name contains from the symbols only the underscore. Variable names can contain only underscore. Right? And then can I have a name for a number with it? User1. Now we know that only underscore can contain from the symbols. Can I have new numbers? Yes, user1 is possible. Can I have one user? Can I have one user? That means start with a number. Can I start with a number? No, I can't. Invalid decimal. You can't. Therefore, remember, variable name can start. Variable name can contain contain only what? Simple A to simple C. Or capital A to capital C. Or 0 to 9. And especially underscore. Variable can contain only this and underscore. And variable name must start. Variable name must, it's a must start. Must start with letter or underscore. With the letter O underscore. Variable name must not, cannot start with the number. Variable name cannot start with a number. Right, then those are the things you need to know. And then we already figured out. Okay, no spaces are allowed in between. No spaces are allowed in no spaces are allowed in variable names. No spaces are allowed in variable names at the in between, in the middle of the variable, in the middle. Right, no spaces are allowed in the variable name. Therefore, what you can use? No spaces are allowed in variable names at the beginning or at the end. We don't. Okay, right. Let's see. Can we have a space at the beginning of the variable? I'm using one space at the beginning. Now again, you will get an error saying indentation error. Therefore, at the beginning, you can't have a variable space. Where spaces are not allowed. No spaces are allowed. Right. And then, how can you use the separate words in variable names? Ways to separate. Ways to separate words in variable name. What are the ways? We could use, we can use underscore, we can use what? Camel case. We can use what? Snake case. Or we could use Pascal case. Okay, quickly search for the camel case, snake case, and the Pascal case. And tell me what do you mean by the snake case? What do you mean by the Pascal case? What do you mean by this camel case? Okay, quickly find out and tell me how to use the snake, camel, and Pascal. Tell me quickly. I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, what is the camel case? Camel case? How you write the camel case? Except the first word, the rest of the words start with a capital letter. Now, for an example, uh, a student, okay, not except the student last name. Right now, here you start the word, every word in capital except the first letter. The student, simple, last L capital, N capital, camel case. And the Pascal case. It's not snail, it's snake. In the Pascal case, we start every letter using capital. Every word with a capital letter. Snake case. Snake case. We use every word is separated by an underscore. Student last name. Now this is what you call as the that is how you separate the words. And then variable names are case sensitive. Variable names are case sensitive. Right. And also cannot use keywords. There are some set of predefined keywords as variable names. There are some set of keywords which you cannot use as a variable name. Right now, there are set of Python keywords which you cannot use as the uh, variable names. Now, for an example, we have okay. Now, here these are the rules we have discussed. Variable names can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores, and you can start with the letter or underscore, not with the number. Spaces are not allowed, but underscore can be used to separate words in variable names, or you can use the camel case or the Pascal case. You can't use the Python keywords, and variable name should be short but descriptive, because if you are using very short and descriptive variable names, that would be a easy task. And names are case sensitive, and you cannot use these keywords. Right now you can see, when you see these words, you can get an idea whether this is a defined one or not. Right, therefore you don't have to worry about remembering these, but just uh, remember that you can't use the keywords. Right. Right. Then we are back to what? Yeah, variable names. Right. Okay, now tell me again. Okay, now these are the rules you need to remember. Right. Okay, I'm gonna delete all now. Okay, now tell me whether which one are correct or which one are not. My name, Joe. Okay, refer to this and then send me your chat whether it is valid or invalid. You have 20. No, 18. No? You have 18. Yes. Reason as well, write the reason as well. Right, okay, only 2 of you have sent me the answers. Right, now, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take one of the answers which I have received. Okay, let me copy it. It says first one is valid. My name. Okay, is it valid? Yes. No spaces used. Yes. Okay, first one is valid. Second, invalid because of the space. Yes, correct. Second is invalid. This is invalid because of the space. And yes, invalid because of the hyphen. Yes, that is also invalid. Underscore my name. Yes, you can start with an underscore. Fine, perfect. My name, simple my, and capital name. Yes, you use the camel case. Yes, fine, valid. Then you use all capitals, Pascal case. Yes, valid. My one name, which is what? 1, 2, 3. Okay, line number 7. 7. Yes, valid. 7 is valid. Why? Yes, only you can't start with a number, but you can have number. Yes. My name 1, yes. 8 valid. 9. 1 my name. Yes, that is not valid permitted because you cannot start with a number. You can't start with a number, therefore this is also invalid. Right. My name. Oh no, the same thing. Yes, same as first one. Right. This is perfect. My dot name invalid. You can't have the dot. You can't have the dot. My at, then you can't have at. And percentage you can't have, therefore invalid. Dollar sign you can't have, it's invalid. And sign you can't have, invalid. This also invalid. And then what is this? Okay, this is also invalid. And this is also invalid. Yes. Because of these symbols invalid. Yes, great. Perfect. Now that is the rules which you have to remember when you are declaring variables. Now hereafter, whenever you declare a variable, remember those. Right. Then assigning a value to a variable that we need to learn. We already done it. Let's say now if you say x equals 10, that means you declare a variable called x and assign the value 10. That is how you assign a value 10. Right. If you want to assign values to, let's say now if you want to assign 2 values to the variables like 10 and 20, like if you do it like this, what will happen? Let's print the x value and the y value and see what's gonna happen. You can see x got 10, y got 20. Therefore, if you want to assign values to the variables, if you want to assign values to the multiple variables, multiple values, you could do it like this. Let's say now we'll declare a variable called name. Name equals Jane Doe, age equal 15, and the city is equal unknown. Right, now I want you to display like this. I want to see an output like this. Okay. Name is Jane Doe. And then 15 years old from unknown. Right, now this is what I want to display. Right. Now using these values, print like this and send me the print statement. Using the print method, I want you to print like this, output should be like this, then send me the print statement via chat quickly. Right now, I have received one answer. Right now, let's see. Okay. Okay, this is a comment. It has to be a commented. Print name, age. Okay, but this will not work now. There is an issue. Why? You haven't tried this, is it?
Yeah, so it's not working.
Yeah, not working. Yes. Why? Okay, the first bracket, okay, first comma, what you wanted to print? Name. That is, you want to print this. And then, okay, name is part also, name is. And then the second line, because here I want to print this variable value. Therefore, you have put a comma and then you have put the variable name. Fine, perfect. Then what you want to print? 15. You want to print the comma, no? Yes, now, okay, let me use this. Okay, right now, what are the things you want to print, and then we can easily see. You want to display this name is, and then you want to print this. We have to print this. Okay, then name is fine. Then the variable name is name, and then we need to have comma. Then the value of the variable age, and then the years old from. We have to close this, and then the city, and we need to. Right now, let's see. Let's save it. If you want to have a dot as well, then again, come on. Dot. Likewise, we need to do it. Okay, now we need to understand how the print function works. Okay, that is what my main objective to give this one is to get an idea how the print function works. Okay, don't worry. Now, first of all, okay, we'll do this later on. Okay, now we have x, y, z, x equals 10, y equals 20, z equals 30. If you use print, now you know already, if you just want to print the value of the variable inside the brackets, print method, you have to just put the variable. That's it, x. And if you want to display what x is this, then you can just put x is, and then comma. Right, if you want to have simple x is this. Right. Now this is how it's gonna display. Now first one only display the value of the variable x. The second one will display x is and the value of the variable x. And if you want to display x and y both, if you want to display x and y, x comma y. If you put x and y, then it would print x is 10, x 10, y 20. Like now here, let's say we want to say x equals 10, and thereafter I want to have y equals 20. Then y equals y. See? Now first one say x equals 10, and then y equals 20. And here also, if I want to have a comma, then I have to put a comma here. Then x equals 10, y equals 20. Likewise, I can put it. Right. Like this, I could print if I want to put multiple values. Right now, if I want to print x, y, z all together, if I want, I can have x, y, z. And let's say I want to display x plus y is equals 30. I want to display x plus y is equals 30. That also, let's say now x plus y is equals to 30. Now here, let's say we have variable called sum. Sum equals x plus y. Now I want to print x plus y is equals 30. Then I can use, right now, here if I just use x plus y, what will happen? If I just put x plus y, now it will do the calculation 10 and 20 and it would give me the answer 30. But I want to display x plus y is equals 30. Then I want to display, if I inside the double quotes, if I type x plus y, comma, and x plus y. If I write like this, then here it will display x plus y and let's say equals sign answer x plus y is equals to, and then it right now here I can get x plus y is equals 30. Right now, or else the same thing we could have done it using x plus y is equals to sum, because we have already calculated it here using the sum variable. X plus y is equals to 30. Likewise, we could do it. Therefore, this is how you use the print function is multiple variables separated by comma. Right now, if you want to have the xy values only to display, now this is what you need to remember now. If you just want to print the variable x value, you can just put x. If you want to print the variable y value, you could just put y. If you want to display two words, okay, x, you have to display something. The result is sum. The total is the sum variable value. That also possible. You could do it. Whatever the text you want to display, you can say total is, the sum is. Sum is. You have to close the double quotes because that is one argument, comma, value of the variable sum. Sum is this. Right, sum is third. And if you want to display like, let's say now if you want to display what you want to display 10 plus 20 is equals to 30 if you want to display. Now this is right. Then either you need to display what? 10. 10 means the variable value x. And I want to display plus. Then I want to display the variable y value. Then I want to display the equal sign. Then I want to display the sum variable value. Then I could display 10 plus 20 is equals to 30. And even instead of the sum variable, if you want, you could do the calculation here saying x plus y. Right now, tell me the output here. I want to display John Doe. How can I display John Doe? How can I display John Doe? How can I display John Doe? What if I type f name plus l name? Now it will do the concatenation. Like now it will append these two. Like now when it comes to two numbers, it has added 10 plus 20. It has done the sum operator, sum operation. It has calculated the total. But now when I have used John plus the f name plus l name, because these are string variables, therefore it has concatenated. But John first name, last name, let's say I have variable called age equals 10 also. And if I type plus age, now this won't happen. This will give us an error because you can only concatenate strings. You cannot concatenate numbers. That means in order to add, either it has to be in the same number format or it should be in the text format, and you can't mix. Therefore, that also you have to remember now. Inside the print method, if you use the plus operator with string values, then they will perform concatenation. With the string values, if you do it, sorry, the integers, if you do it, that will do the addition. That will do the addition. Therefore, remember that as well. Now, therefore, this is what you need to remember. Right. Now, this is what's going to happen. If you do it like this, it will add these two numbers. If you use string values, that will concatenate. And this is how you display multiple arguments. Like here, only one argument you are passing. Here you are passing two arguments. You print sum is whatever you wanted to print, you put inside the double quotes. and then you put the variable name. Right. Okay, Pute, like now there are many of you just started today, right? I know there may be some parts you cannot understand. Therefore, if you speak up now, yes, I can help you. If you do not ask, I don't know. Because when I ask you to enter, send me the answers, only one or two has sent me the answers. Because I want you to send me answers. Then only I'll be able to see whether you understood it or not. Therefore, please, any questions up to now? Do you understand this part? Okay, any part you have not understand, please talk to me. Because I can't ask from each and everyone, are you okay? Are you okay? Likewise, no. Therefore, please, Pute, anyone who's having any question, please ask. Please do ask. Anyone, please? If you don't understand this, please ask. Then I can explain again and again. Okay, if you are okay up to what we have discussed so far, please raise your hand. Those who understood everything what we have done so far, please. What we have discussed. We discussed about the single line comments and multi-line comments, and thereafter the variables get assigned, the variables get created when you assign a value, variable type is determined based on the value you assign. That means each assignment may change the variable type, and the variable naming conventions we discussed. That means you can start the variable name with a letter, underscore, and you can have letters, numbers, or underscore as the variable name contents, and you cannot start with a number, and variable names are case sensitive. You cannot use the Python keywords. Likewise, we discussed, and in order to separate the words, you can't use spaces, but you can use the camel case, snake case, or the Pascal case that we have discussed, and how to assign values to the variables we discussed, and how to print the values of the variable we discussed. And those are the things we discussed so far. Therefore, now, next day, now we're going to start. Now we have not started yet. Next day, we're going to start with the variable types and what each type can do. Likewise, we're going to talk about the text types, number types, Boolean types, and then sequences, maps, and the sets we're going to discuss in the coming weeks. But then basically next day, we're going to talk about the variable types, basically text types, number types, and the Boolean types. And thereafter operators, likewise, we're going to discuss. Therefore, up to now, therefore, please, if you have any questions from the today's content, you can ask now. Please. Any questions from the today's content, please ask now. No questions? Right, great. Okay, then I'm going to wind up for today, and we'll be starting again on next Sunday morning, right? 8 o'clock. Yes, we'll have it on 8 o'clock. Right, thank you very much. Any questions, please ask.